timid Australian wildlife at its best. Hi guys, it's Mike here from KS Bushcraft Down Under. Today I'm going to share with you one of my favourite camping meals. Now it's sort of backpacking friendly. It works out about $5 Australian to make a meal for two, and it weighs in at about 550 grams. So yes, it's nowhere near as light as a freeze-dried meal, but it's a particularly good meal, and it's nice to have a real meal early on in the trip. Okay, so it's risotto with bacon and mushrooms. I'm going to make it today in the Army Trangia. So I'll post all the information online anyway. So my favourite base for this is the spring vegetables simmer soup mix. So we'll start by putting that into the large Trangia pot before we do anything else. Now these simmer mixes will hydrate in cold water. So my Army mug holds about 380 ml. So now of course if you have a litre soup mix, it's going to require a litre. So what I'll do, I'll put 3 mugfuls of cold water in. Now I'll take some weights and measurements for you guys, but normally I don't bother too much in the field. So that's the base started. So I like to add to that a little bit of garlic, which I'll fry up. Some onion, which I'll also fry off first, and of course the bacon. Now the carrot. Just to add texture, you can put any bits of veg that you've got in this meal to bulk it up a bit and to add some texture. Cut them reasonably thin so that it will cook within the time. But it's nothing about being too fussy, so that's plenty. So I'll throw them in the soup mix. Now the Army Trangia is pretty good. The only thing it misses is a simmering, which you can take one off at Tatonka, which will make it simmer quite nicely. So I couldn't find any small onions. You could use spring onions, but the only onion I get this morning were giant ones, so this is a quarter of a giant. Now onion dries out quite nicely in a home food dryer, or you can buy it dried. Nothing fancy required. Okay, so I'll reset the... Okay, so the Trangia is lit. I've got 4 spoonfuls of oil to put in the little pan. There again, I don't measure it. If you need to measure something, just use the cap. You don't need measuring spoons in the field. Now if you're worried about cleaning your pans, you can actually cut out a piece of baking paper to make that a lot easier. So we'll fry off the garlic as soon as the Trangia heats up. Okay, so the Trangia is starting to bloom. I slightly overfilled it this morning. Took a while to bloom. Amateur problem. So we'll sweat off some onions. Shame you can't smell it, guys. It actually smells fabulous, it really does. Now for someone living in a climate like mine, transporting things like bacon and fresh veg is a bit of a problem. The solution I use, and it only applies for the first day or so of a hike, is to freeze a dish sponge and to either wrap it in newspaper, which I can burn, or bubble wrap off parcels, and that will give me a lightweight mini cooler. So useful to know if you're transporting. So if you're car camping, this is a great recipe for any part of the trip. So I'm going to fry these through till they go translucent. Then we're going to fry off the mushrooms and the bacon, and then I will coat the rice in a bit of oil before putting the large pot on. Then I'll bring that to a boil. It's just one rasher of cheap bacon, 1 cupful or mugful of mushrooms. Now you can use dry mushrooms if weight's the issue. There's nothing wrong with dry. Personally I don't like them, but anyway, that's just me. See the Trangia's at full power now. Now I'm not frying the rice. What I'm doing, I'm putting some colour on it. Okay. So you don't want it to burn. About do it. So we'll put that on the boil, and we'll keep stirring it because we don't want the rice sticking to the bottom. Now the liquid will evaporate down, well actually will be absorbed by the rice. So as soon as it comes to a boil, I'll remove it from the heat. I'll put the simmering on and let it sweat down from there. So it's just coming up to the boil. Keep on the stirring. You don't want it sticking to the bottom, so that would be a pain to clean up. You can see that the soup mix is hydrating, and with a moment or two it will boil, and I'll lift it off. Okay, so she's on the boil now, guys. I will lift this off. Lift off the heat shield. I'll add the simmering. Put that on. Put that on. Give it a quick stir. Starting to come up nicely. So we'll let that simmer away until it runs out of fuel. Then I'll check it. Generally I find that it's, with a larger military Trangia burner, one full load is enough. So here she is, simmering all very nicely with the lid on. Keep giving it the occasional stir. The rice grains are fluffing up just nice. Everything's got a great colour. Rice is cooked through. I'll let it run for a bit, and I'll let it sit for a while after the fuel's run up. So guys, that's done. All it needs now is a bit of black pepper, and if you're into Parmesan cheese, a coating of that. We shall give it the acid taste test. Oh, that is really good. It is really good. So it works out about 550 grams pack weight, and about $5 Australian. Now this is a really solid meal for 2 people if you're hiking hard. You can see all the bits from the soup mix have all hydrated nicely, and it's all cooked. Anyway guys, that was a bit different than I normally do. I hope you enjoyed this one. Thanks for watching. If you like what I do, subscribe. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.